Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Online, 23rd Century Starfleet campaign. As usual, Temporal Agent Philip Gray is telling us that the timeline is secure. And we're on the edge of the Vahar system, at the edge of the Romulan neutral zone. And we're going to begin the mission Mine Enemy. Now, the Ferengi are operating a magnesite mine somewhere among these moons. We're not entirely sure which one, though. So we're gonna have to find out which one. Now, rubidium ore is kinda hard to find, so I'm just gonna get that real quick. We'll hail this first moon. Oh, we're being attacked by some Orions. They don't know any better. I won't bother with the hydrazine gas. That's common enough. So they weren't at that moon. Let's try the second one. And the reason why we lost one of our fighter groups is if it gets too far out of the way, usually out of this radar range, it'll just disappear. Yeah, they aren't very hospitable around here. Well, that kind of narrows things down for us, though, because it has to be on this third moon. There's Madron. And he's selling magnesite. So I guess we found our mine. Yeah, we can only have a couple of people with us on the away mission. So we'll take us, of course, and Tarsi, because she can draw aggro. Fortunately, that means we don't get a healer. What's over here? Geranium. That can be useful. I'll just quickly pick that up though, because you get a lot of materials if they're common. You don't really need to succeed at the minigame. Oh, he's not going to share his Tranya with us. Tranya is I guess a drink of some sort. So yes, he's an excellent source of magnesite. And I wonder if he has any information about the mines themselves. Okay, I guess we could visit the mines, or we can talk to the miners. Apparently he's not treating the miners very well. Okay, let's question some of the locals. Now, most of the people around here won't talk to us. And there's 3 very specific people in particular that will. I think this is the one we want. Here we go. One is for science, one is for engineering, and one is for tactical. This one is the science specific one. So, we just need some soil samples. And we conduct a geological survey. And this green circle will get smaller. And we'll get an update, basically, where to go. And we can continue doing this over and over again. I know roughly where to go. And it's this little metal deposit over here that kind of looks like a crashed ship. So I am going to conduct my geological survey right here. See if I'm right. Yep. It looks like it. If we're lucky... Nope, we're not. These wolf-like things are called wargles. They're basically just scavengers. Shouldn't be too tough to take down. They're definitely hostile, however. Okay, so we found a new source of magnesite. So maybe now that we've helped that miner, they'll give us some information. Yeah, so he's basically holding this person hostage until she's basically worked off of the debt that she owes him, which she isn't telling us how much. Okay, let's check out this mine. Now that was the science objective. In order to do the other 2 objectives, you need to be one of the other 2 careers. Or at least have them with you on this mission. And they have to be another player as well. There's a gang that controls the bottom levels of the mine. And who doesn't know about the brain invasion of Deferi space? Well, we don't, for one. Tetrazine gas is usually pretty useful as well. Now, we didn't find much information above ground, but maybe when we enter this mine we'll find some. Now, there's supposed to be a gang down here. Oh, there's a Romulan miner. Talk our way past? I'd like to enter this area. Maybe if you got to know me a little better. Like, okay, well, it's been a pleasure wasting my time with you. Unfortunately, we need past him. And yes, that was kind of not very Starfleet of me of firing first, but we do need past this Romulan miner. And he is actually one of the gang members. Okay, I'm going to preemptively activate scientific aptitude because there is a whole host of these Romulans down here who aren't very happy to see us, and I expect weren't expecting us to be down here. Now, we've got to be kind of careful because Romulans like using plasma grenades, which really hurt. Especially if you stay in their blast radius. Okay, we've taken all of the attack groups out, so let's examine the campsite. Some pressure plates. That wall in the background kind of looks out of place. So thankfully they're marked. So there's one. And you can actually order your teammates to go somewhere by pushing either this to set a rally point, or this icon up here to set a rally point for all of our crew. Then we just lock in the positional coordinates, and then right-click this up here to call Tarsi back to us, and then we can use the hidden door. Easy as that.
I give the orders here, Commander. You are out of line.
With all due respect, sir, there's a difference between protecting the Empire from her enemies and provoking...
There is much here you do not understand, Janek. The Remans need to know their place. As do you. I will not forget your insubordination, Commander. The Tal Shiar has no place for officers who cannot follow orders. I'll be in the command center.
Colonel, they were civilians! Their blood is on our hands!
Get used to it. There will be more. Speaking of which, why don't you clean out the brig before you become a resident there?
Now we can sneak by these Romulans. If you walk, if you sprint, they will notice you.
I almost feel sorry for you, but I have my own neck to worry about. I'll be joining you in there soon enough. If Hakeev has his way, we all will.
Commander Janek doesn't seem too interested in Hakeev. Maybe we can reason with her. She might have an access code. Now we do need to defeat her beforehand. Oh, I need to back away now. That thing she set on the floor is a Thaleron mine, and it does an incredibly large amount of damage. In fact, it just killed Tarsi. Yeah, that's how dangerous Thaleron weaponry is. And unfortunately, she just jumped on top of the prison. Okay, we can talk to her.
I surrender. I value my life more than the Tal Shiar's secrets. I'll tell you anything you want to know. But first you must tell me why you are here and what you want.
So why does the Reman Resistance want to destroy this base?
The Remans know about this base? Impossible. Only the leadership of the Tal Shiar know we're here. The Empress herself couldn't find us. I don't believe you. But it makes no difference. This is not a military installation. We listen and record here, nothing more. There are many targets those Reman scum would find much more tempting.
Now we have a diplomacy option here. That's because I have a rank in diplomacy from the duty officer system. So I'll choose that option. We can't choose this option because I think you need to be the Romulan faction for that. And we don't really know her that well. This will lead to a fight. So we'll choose the diplomatic option.
Colonel Hakeev will want my blood for this, but take my security code. You can use it to access the control room. You'll find everything you're looking for there.
Thank you. And she transports out, I believe. So yeah, you do get the key either way. However, if you fight her, you have to fight her a second time. Like if you pick enough of these lies, you have to fight her a second time. She does start at half health. You still get the key, though. And these guys are automatically going to fire at all these Romulans. Because they're probably upset at spending so much time in the brig. Now there is a room up to the north, which we don't really need. And let's see what these computers are about. Just logs on Starfleet activity. Okay, so they're spying on us. They seem to have tabs on everything that we've been doing. And the Klingons. Now, these are all actually clues for an upcoming puzzle. So I'll just kind of leave these up on screen for a little bit. In case you want to read them. I'm not going to explore the room up north, though, because there is nothing there. Yeah, they seem to have tabs on everyone. Even the Borg. But yeah, that's all they have on the Borg. Resistance is futile. So let's unlock this door and fight some more Romulans. Now these Romulans do follow a patrol pattern. I don't think you can sneak past them. Especially with all these miners following you. Now here's the control room. Oh, and there's Hakeev.
How did you find this place? What else do you know? No matter. You won't be revealing anything to your superiors. It's disappointing I cannot give you a proper interrogation. But I have much to do and little time. The self-destruct sequence has begun. This base will be your tomb.
Now, before we leave, we have to get the Tal Shiar records. Now we can escape. I don't think there's a timer for this, but it does take a bit of time to run out of here. Return to the surface. Don't worry, Tarsi is with us. Let's confront Madron about the secret Tal Shiar base. Now, there is an infestation of Tal Shiar spies in there, it just fumigated. Yeah, he should have known what was down there. Okay, so he doesn't really know anything. You better treat those miners well. We might not be back, but Starfleet will. Yeah, I'm not surprised Madron doesn't know very much. But we do have to decrypt those files that we got from the Tal Shiar. So this mission isn't quite over yet. Now, to get to your ready room, push this little arrow and go to the Starship Bridge. By default, everyone gets the same one, which is the Origin Bridge. Before, it used to look a bit different. Then we access the library files and decrypt Tal Shiar files. Now, we don't really have anything to reference this from, so we'll go Reciprocity. Analyze file structure. So, basically, we don't know what any of this means, and everything seems to reference this file. And we don't have any passkeys for this. So we'll select Fervor, analyze what file structure this is, and this tells us everything that happened in, supposedly, in Klingon space. We'll cross-reference this, and then it tells us what actually happened. So we'll say the House of Torg, and they were brought before the High Council for acts of treason. Then we open the Reciprocity file, and then apply the passkey, and then we get a couple of actual meaningful words. So we just repeat this. And these are all events that actually happened in-game, or have happened in the show, but most of them happened in the game before. So if we remember, Vulcan Ambassador Socketh was exposed at the Monastery of Pajem. Well, exposed as a shapeshifter, it should say. Oh. Precedence file. This one, I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to guess, except for trial and error. That's how I guessed it, anyway. If you get it wrong, there's really nothing that happens. It just shows up in yellow. So you just revert the changes back to red, and then pick the right one. And then Reciprocity is the one that we were changing, so we'll skip to Referendum. And then Ambassador Jirok visits Kronos, I believe? Nope. Must be Vulcan. Yes. Okay. Also, I'll just scroll up and let you read this. So apparently, Dara system is where the Remans are. The Tal Shiar know that the Remans are in the Dara system. And we don't need to return to the Admiral at the Starbase, we can just...
The Tal Shiar records you recovered show that Hakiv and his forces have been targeting the Remans for months. Obasek and his followers have been driven from their homes, had their ships destroyed, and their loved ones killed or imprisoned. Some might say that Obasek's campaign against the Tal Shiar is just. However, Obasek was planning on using Thalaron weapons in the Fahar system, which would have killed hundreds of innocent civilians, as well as the Tal Shiar cell there. This is the problem with revenge. Violence and fury only create more pain and suffering.
what are we doing to help Romulan civilians like those miners?
Since the destruction of Romulus, the Federation has done all it can for the survivors and the Romulan colony worlds. Many of our aid shipments were stolen or diverted for use by the Romulan military. Others were rejected out of pride or suspicion. Nonetheless, we will not stop. It is my belief that a lasting peace with the Romulans is possible, but it will not be attained through treaties. Only by reaching out to individuals, as you did in the Vahar system, can we sweep away decades of mistrust and hostility.
And we can start the next mission, Frozen.
We know from the information you recovered from the Vahar system that the Tal Shiar are planning to attack a Reman settlement in the Dara system. We have an opportunity to reach the settlement first. This may be a completely internal matter, and if so, the Prime Directive will come into play. We will not be able to interfere, but if there is an outside influence directing these matters, we must know what it is. Our encounters with the Undine and the Changelings have proven that there are entities attempting to move the powers of the Quadrant like pieces in a cow-toe game. It is essential to protecting the Federation to see these attempts for what they are and counter them. I want you to go to the Dara system and learn more about the Reman uprising. The Remans will have hidden their base, so you may have to use subterfuge to find it. One more thing. I realize this is a dangerous situation and that you may be drawn into conflict, but do not antagonize the Remans or the Romulans if you can avoid doing so. We are already at war with the Klingon Empire. I would prefer to avoid another extended conflict.
Okay, and that's all there is to that. So we will leave the ship interior. Now, it's a very confusing way of wording that button, because we're still in the ship interior, we're just flying the ship now. But before we go to the Dara system, I think we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for watching.